Welcome to Winning Inside, the show where we follow the journey from feeling defeated to winning. Here are your hosts, Cheddy Matthews and Michelle Wickman.
Hello, amazing people. Welcome to the Winning Inside podcast, where we discuss real issues, insights, and solutions to help you thrive in your day-to-day lives.
We know life happens, and we can choose to be a spectator or a participant.
Hi, Cheddy.
Welcome back. I almost wanted to get the band out and start playing all my cymbals and the drums and get all loud because you're back. I missed you. We missed you. It's so good to have you here. How are you, Michelle?
I am great. I honestly, I can't complain. It's not that anybody wants to hear more complaints anyway.
You didn't lie.
But I cannot complain. It doesn't mean that life's easy. And I had this conversation with somebody the other day. It doesn't mean that life's easy. It doesn't mean that things are smooth. It just means that the way that I relate to the circumstances that are outside of my control is it's so natural and seamless right now. Right.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm not attached to other people's circumstances.
We may have to quote that. That was pretty deep.
No. And I'm not attached to their thoughts either, right? I can be there, I can be supportive, I can be empathetic, I can be compassionate, but I don't have to be attached to the things that other people are in control of. And so spending some really a good amount of time focusing on that from, the 3-day training I went to has been incredibly helpful, especially going into the holiday season.
I love this. I love it. Oh my gosh. So you did a 3-day training, and it's interesting because I'm looking at you and you seem like I won't say there's a weight lifted, but you seem so light and so tranquil. I guess the word is probably at ease. It's interesting because it exudes, it's bubbling. I wish I could show people could see your face right now because you just seem so at ease in a way where I'm sure there's things going on, but the worry is not there. You know what I mean? Or the tension or the stress or the mind being in a million places. You just seem like you're so present right now. It's so cool to watch. It's so cool to watch. So give me the pill so I can get that too. I want to. In fact, let me order 2. You get 2 of those to go.
Listen, it's the pill that just comes and goes, right? Because I'm not always like that. I still feel that stress. I still feel, the anxiety and the pressure and all of those things.
Yeah.
And it's just how long do I sit with it, right?
Yeah.
How long do I decide to be in that emotion versus saying, okay, this really isn't serving me physically or mentally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not serving my relationship. So, how do I want to shift in my thoughts right now so that my experience can be one that I desire and one that I intentionally create instead of something that's unconsciously present in my life?
Yeah.
It's probably a lot of coach speak.
It sounds like a lot of intentionality. It sounds like you're living on purpose. Let's call it that. You're living on purpose.
Yeah.
And things aren't happening accidentally. They happen incidentally, maybe. And they happen intentionally because you're doing things. You're doing things. And it's interesting how when you're in that space, you realize you have control over certain things. And like you said earlier, there's some things out of your control. And you're like, okay.
There's a lot of things that are outside of our control, right?
Most things are out of our control.
And there are a lot of things that are inside and within our control that we don't acknowledge as well.
Right.
So it's a really interesting space to be in when it's hyper relevant right now, right? Because I just did this 3-day training. It was very immersive, long, 9 to 5. Oof. All of those things. And I'm continuing that training forward as well because I opted into another certification just because I love it and I love learning. It's one of the things that I will never stop doing. I think I mentioned that previously, but also it's another skill that I can bring to my clients, but I'm not going
Exactly.
to bring it effectively to other people unless I really work on it myself.
Yes.
And that's the space I've been in since the weekend prior to Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So, yeah, every day, every
Yeah.
day.
It's cool how you talk the talk, but you also walk that same walk, you know, living by example, which is such a profound, in fact, important tenet of leadership. How you lead yourself and lead others through the same
Mhm.
thing. That's pretty cool because you're not saying do what I say. You're saying do what I say because I've done it as well, or do what I'm doing. It's like servant leadership. It's
Mm.
you know, sometimes in the military we'll call it like the warrior leader, the fighter leader, the person who's with
Mhm.
you as they're leading. That's something else. That's not being a boss. That's being a leader
Yeah.
and inspiring people and influencing people and walking with people and helping people grow with. It's so collaborative and it's such a great space to be in. And that's part of the reason why I admire you and your leadership and the things that you do, because you don't just say a certain thing, you say it and do it. And if you didn't say it, we could get the words from that because we see what you do and we see how you live. So you are exemplary in that area. And it's noteworthy. I'm taking notes because it's good stuff. It's what we all aspire to do. So thank you for that. That is a gift that I'll take. I'll take that as a gift.
Yeah.
Put it
Well,
in my
thank
pocket.
you. Thank you for that reflection. It's like
Yeah,
very kind.
that's because I haven't seen you in a while. Like I almost want to give you a virtual hug, but you're too far away. So all you take
Oh,
is out there, figure out how I can give
I
Michelle a
know.
virtual hug on Zoom or on some kind of social media or any way electronically. Let me know how to do that, and boom, you know, we'll take that. We'll take that, and we'll get some fundraising and start a company. Because if I could give you a virtual hug right now, Michelle, I would. Really do appreciate
Oh,
you. Really,
we'll
really
hug
do
you back
appreciate
too.
you.
There you
Oh,
go. No,
grazie.
I want to go back to and back to a little bit of what you were speaking of in terms of being the warrior leader
Mhm.
and being in the fight, not necessarily instructing or leading the fight from away, right?
Yes.
From a distance.
Mhm.
And there, I love rugby.
No, no, just a bit.
But there's this, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, but there's this phrase that you hear a lot, and it may even be associated with Ireland's rugby team. I
Mhm.
kind of, with whom I also love. I'm part Irish, so I'm definitely partial. But it's shoulder to shoulder, right? And this concept that we stand shoulder to shoulder.
Yes.
So, the captain on the field, whomever it is, it's like they're shoulder to shoulder. They're doing the work. The fans in the stands, we're shoulder to shoulder with the team, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of that concept of a united front towards a
Mhm.
common goal, right?
I love that.
I love it too. I know.
Yeah.
I love it too. And it's supporting, it's doing, it's bearing witness to, it's cheering on, it's putting effort forth. It's all the things. So
Nice.
with that, when I look at coaching, and I know you feel the same way, when I look at coaching, it's like we are not the ones that are necessarily guiding you, right?
Mhm.
Because we can never know exactly what your personal circumstances and experiences are. We
Yeah.
aren't you, but we can stand shoulder to shoulder with you. Right.
Yes.
And we can assist you along the difficult parts and we can help open your eyes to new possibilities
Yeah.
and support you along that journey. I can't tell you exactly where your next step is because I am not you. So it's hard when I think about the concept of coaching or leadership in that I am in front of you because I'm not, right? I'm shoulder to shoulder with you.
Yes. I love that. It's synergistic. It's we're all in this together. And I did a leadership exercise when I started this executive MBA program. We did a leadership foundation week. It was a intensive week of instruction and just different things. And it was almost to orient us to the fact that this is no joke. This has started. Game on. And one of the
Mm.
things we did was a ropes course. I was like, oh, this will be fun. The ropes course is great. I was like, oh, but Ched, don't you, man, you just had a shoulder surgery. You just had a spine surgery. Wait. This is not going to be as easy as it used to be in the past. I'm like, I'm not scared of heights because, dude, who cares about you not being scared of heights? You can't use your arms. You can't climb the ropes. It's like, oh, yeah, about that. So I'm a little nervous now. And we're doing this one thing where it's like you're on one rope and then your partner's on another rope and you're holding each other in a V. And if you buckle, then you both fall. And we're walking across, traversing these two lines, and they're getting further and further away to the point we're almost laying down now at some point. And I'm exhausted. My back is on fire. I can feel the muscles spasming. And I'm like, I'm not going to let this guy drop. I'm not going. And he was like, I'm going to go. I'm like, no. I said, lean on me. And I said, the more you lean on me, the stronger we get. The more, and actually, as I was fading, the more he leaned on me, the stronger I got. I was like, this is great. And I was like, keep leaning. As it gets further and further, just lean on me. Look at me, lean on me, and we'll just keep going. And he was like, I can't go any further. And I was like, dude, we can keep going. I'm not going to let go of you. And we went even further and further. We didn't make it, but we went so much further than he thought we could. Mm-hmm. And what I realized at that point was, I'm not quitting because I don't want to let you down. I'm going to stay here and suffer in this because I'm with you. We're in this together. And it was interesting how that happened in that exercise. I mean, I've done ropes courses before and leadership courses, but me and that individual bonded over that shared pain, because for that moment, it was like, I'm with you all the way. If I fall, you fall. If you fall, I fall. We fall together. And at some point, he was like, Cheddy, I can't go anymore. I was like, okay, you ready? And we both fell. And we looked at it and he was like, wow, I gave up. Like mentally, the person had given up so far beyond where we made it to. I think we realized that in the future, if we did that again, we'd make it to the end, because we know we can go that much further than we thought we could if we did it together. Could we have done it by ourselves? No. But it was just, I'm in this with you. And now that person, the level of trust between us, the intimacy that we experienced was so accelerated. I'd known the guy for every bit of 3 days at the point, maybe 2 days. But yet now I'm like, that's my guy right there. And it's funny how that works, but that's my guy. Because I just feel like if he needs something, I've got your back. And I think he understands that I'm the same. There's something about that, working with someone, being in concert with somebody, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, as you said, that just gives you so much more power than you have by yourself. Let's call it that.
Yeah. No, I love that example. I also see the opportunity where you express to him, just lean on me, right? Lean on me and I've got you. So convincing him that it's okay to seek support, right? It's okay to receive support from me. Just go ahead and lean into it. And you realize that when he did, it actually made it easier for you too.
That was the lesson for me, because
I
realized that there was a time when I used to be able to rely on my physical abilities. You know, 6 surgeries in, I'm like, those aren't there anymore. So in the past, I would have said, lean on me. I'll carry your weight. I've got you, is where that would have came from. This was different. This was lean on me. It was strengthen me, which will strengthen you. It was together we can do this. It wasn't, I'm going to help you get through this. It wasn't from the hero complex. It was, I need you to lean on me so that I can then provide the energy you need to stay up on this rope. It was very much, we need each other to do this thing. And it was very synergistic, because individually we couldn't do it. But together,
but you probably
we were
didn't
stronger.
have the breath to say all those words. You
we were
just said,
too high.
lean on me, I got you.
We were too high in the sky for any kind of pontificating. There was no thought. It was just like eyeball to eyeball, just lean on me.
No, I love it. I think, have we talked about David Goggins before?
We probably have mentioned David Goggins once or twice.
The man is like next level times 10, right? Of mind over matter, mind over physical pain, mind over physical limitations. And with that, it's understanding and respecting that like our brain has the power to drive us further than we ever thought possible. And you gave the perfect example of that in partnership with another person, right?
Yes.
When you are in partnership with another person, you can go even further, even faster. Like he has a brain that I just look at as like, okay, you're just made of steel. Because he could literally run with like no toenails and like a broken bone. And I'm just thinking, like, okay, that's nobody needs to prove that, right? Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to prove that. That is not what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But that is like next level conditioning, mindset conditioning, all of those things. Now, you
Yes.
and this individual, you haven't necessarily sat there and conditioned yourself. I know that you do the work, but
Yeah.
I don't know this other individual. And you have never worked together. But
Yes.
when you both came together to work towards a common goal, you
Yes.
were able to push your minds even further, right? Push your limitations
Yes.
even further than your brain was saying, like, stop, quit, you're so uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
you were able to be like, no, like telling your brain to stop saying those things because this other person is here with me.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that is the power of collaborating with other people on this journey, on whatever journey you have, that is going to push your comfort levels. It's going to push your limitations. That's the
Yes.
power of that.
Wow. I don't know. That's I'm hearing you talk and I'm just like, it's so true. And I think it's a part of what we do as coaches. Why I think what we do is so important and so effective. It's very, it's us, but we're not, I don't think we're the cause of it. We're just a facilitator of it. And together, it's just, I'm almost honored to be in the room when the change is happening. But the change happens with the other person. The other person is necessary for the change. Any change that, let's say, a client has is not necessarily because of me. It's really because of them and working in concert with, working together to get the results that they want. It's so interesting because it's so opposite of that guru mindset. There's no guru here. Like, I need to be shoulder to shoulder with that person. And if they're willing to grow, I'm willing to share, we're willing to help, I'm willing to discover. Let's work together to get you the results that you want. But I need you to lean in. And that's the part that can be scary sometimes. Lean in is scary. I don't know you. Who the heck are you? I don't know if you're qualified. Do you even care? Are you going to consider me crazy? Are you going to judge me? Psst. Look, these are thoughts that I thought I was going to the grave with. And you want me to tell you? I'm scared of this thing. I'm a tough guy. I'm scared of this thing. I need to tell you that I'm scared of this thing. I don't tell anybody that I'm scared. Or I always have it together. And this thing is confusing. I feel confused and out of control, but I'm the together person. You want me to tell you that I don't have it together? I'm not doing that. That's challenging. And that is sometimes facing our fears head on. But you're doing it with somebody who cares about you. Who cares about you? And I think that's what people get when they work with you, Michelle. I hope that's what they get when they work with me. I hope that's what they get when they work with anybody who's in that space to help them or help us, coming from that helping space, because it's valuable. It's valuable. And there is no agenda other than, and the thing about us, what we want. Like, hey, these are our fees. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to try. You kind of know up front what we're going to give you. There's no hidden agenda here. So I'm not trying to sell you a widget. I'm not trying to do anything. You know what the deal is. Let's work on you. And
yeah,
I love that. I love that because there's so many times in life where people have ulterior motives. But I like the fact that we're just straight up. This is what we do. If you want this, here I am. Here I am.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we're here to help. And I hope the people listening have somebody in their life. It doesn't have to be a paid coach per se, but have somebody in your life that can be shoulder to shoulder with you. I'm here for you. I'm here with you. They can, hey, you said you were going to lean in. You're not leaning. Somebody that can hold you accountable or remind you, hey, did you lean as far as you could? Maybe, I don't know. What's holding you back? What's making you not lean in? I don't know. Whatever the questions are, but just helping you to just get better, that wants you to get better for the sake of you getting better, for no other reason, but just because you want to get better. Well, let's go there. That's it. Let's go there. I love that because there is definitely strength in numbers. And as you know, walking hand in hand does give you a certain level of strength. When you can look to your left or to your right and know that I am not alone. It's why unions worked back in the day. It's why back in the Greek day, the Greek armies used to have the phalanx, the line of shields that was almost impenetrable because they trusted the person to the left and to the right. It works today. It works in so many different situations. You mentioned it, football. rugby, arm to arm, shoulder to shoulder, neck to neck. There's something about that gives you so much more confidence, because you may not do it for yourself, but you would do it for that compatriot, that person on the left or for the right. You may do it for them. And that increases the strength of, it's just synergistic, how you may have 10 units of strength by yourself, and you may have 10 units of strength by yourself, but together you have 30 units of strength. That's synergy. And that's what happens. It's the magic. It's that magic. That je ne sais quoi, to speak a little French. It's that thing that you can't even articulate what it is, but something happens in that space when two people come together. And that's where genius happens sometimes. Great ideas come out of that. Great insights, great barriers are broken. And I actually am grateful to you, Michelle, for being shoulder to shoulder with me. Because when I'm walking a little slow, you're like, hey, speed up. Okay, fine. And hopefully I'll do the same for you. I don't know. Hopefully we do that for one another. But I would like to believe that we are better together than we would be by ourselves. I would like to believe that. If that's not true, I'm going to believe it anyway.
I choose to believe this. This is the thing that I believe. And that's the beauty of our own personal belief systems, right? As well, is like, it doesn't matter what I think, because as long as you believe it, that's going to make you feel good. That's the power of thought right there.
There it is.
But it is also true. And I can affirm that. So, I think you make a lot of really great points just in terms of having people around you. And we have had a podcast where we discussed our inner circle, right?
Yeah.
Our personal board of directors, if you will. So if my life, I'm a business and I am the CEO and president of my own business, and I have this personal life board of directors. So we've touched on that before. Even if you don't have a board of directors that's going to look at your circumstances, at your life in a neutral kind of feeling space, right? Yeah. Because they're too attached to you. Like, listen, let's be real. Our friends are great in terms of giving us insights, but they also tend to be very attached to our circumstances and our outcomes. And because of that, they don't necessarily give us the most unbiased coaching, guidance, or advice. They have a vested interest in the results that we create in our life, right?
Of course.
And I'm not saying all friends are like that. And I'm not saying all friends are like that for all circumstances or,
of course,
problems that we bring to the table.
But it tends to be the case.
Yeah. And we're also not saying that, dump everybody in your life that doesn't show up in that way, that doesn't want to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. You can do this work starting with just yourself. And that's really where we started, right? Yeah. When we just were babies in this journey, it wasn't all of a sudden we had this group of people around us that are like-minded and really pushed us out of our comfort zone or really helped us to really see the limitations that we couldn't see.
Yeah.
Right. So because of that, we have exponentially grown because we have that now. But when we started, we were just like little babies on this journey, and we had to test a lot of things out on our own and test out our own thoughts and question. And it's like, do books work for me? Yes, I read books. Do classes work for me? Yes, I took classes. Podcasts work for me. What other podcasts are going to work for me? That's the process of this entire evolution. And I'll be honest, even this podcast is an evolution, because Cheddy and I, we didn't have a topic. We just said, let's just start talking. And I'm usually the person that's like, that's a no for me. When Cheddy makes that suggestion, I'm like, nope, I don't want to do that. Right. Because I like to have a little more structure. But we started talking this time, and we actually started with a quasi different subject. We're like, oh, I really liked how we talked about that off the record, and let's start talking about that. And we just went into this whole different direction. Yeah. But we wouldn't have had this opportunity had we set specific limitations. And we're in a space now where we've done enough podcasts that we can really test this ground and see if it works for us. It's not always going to be just free flow. And, we don't even
Oh,
have a
yeah.
subject. Let's start talking and just see where we go. But sometimes, as Cheddy mentioned, the most creativity comes from that space of non-rigidity,
Yeah.
right? Non-structure. So we can flow with what's present in our brains and what's really like true in our hearts right now and share that with you. So I know you mentioned something a little while ago, what coaches do and what we do with our clients, and the thing that I grabbed my notebook because I had written this down earlier, and you were talking and I'm like flipping through my pages because I was like, oh my God, that reminds me of something. So what we do in terms of, again, we don't necessarily have to do or had the exact experience that you had in order to coach.
Yes.
Coaches, what we do is we help you to dig up, discover, and uncover your beliefs. We help you to become present with those beliefs and those thoughts, right? We help you to question them. So we want to ask ourselves, are these true? Right? Are they necessary? All these, we want to question and inquire about them and become truly curious about them. And then we want to intentionally create the beliefs and the thoughts that are going to create the results in our lives that we want. So that is the process that we go through. And that's the process that everybody goes through for goals.
Yes.
We want to discover, become present to, question, and then create. That's what we want to do.
Ooh, say that one more time. That was pretty cool. I like how you just dropped that out there. I was like, whoa, I'm gonna have to write. Let me break out my pen. Hold on here, people.
You want me to say it again? Really?
I do want to say it. That was pretty hot.
Okay.
No, just drop that. That was like
I was just going to say, just pause this and then come back and rewrite it down.
Yeah,
but you want to discover,
yep,
become present to, question, and then create.
I love that.
The beliefs and thoughts that are going to get us the results that we want.
Ooh, that, whoa, that right there. That right there. That's what I have to say about that. That is just, it's funny because it seems so simplistic in the way you just say that, but it's so powerful. If just that curiosity, when you talk about discovering and being present, and questioning.
So I think that's important though. We want to simplify. We want it to be so simple that somebody could say, I could do that on my own, right? And if you can and you get the results that you want, then please do it. I mean, I would say do it even if you don't know that you can. Like just do it. Go out there and uncover the thoughts, the exact words that are showing up in your brain that are creating the actions that are stopping you from your goals.
Yeah.
Right? And begin to become present to how often they show up in your brain.
Wow.
And then you want to question those thoughts, right? What are the exact words? Question those words. Is this true? How has this impacted me in the past? How has this limited me?
Yeah.
How has this even benefited me? We can talk a whole podcast about that, right? Because even those beliefs that have harmed us have at some point in time served us.
Ding, ding.
So that is why we then held on to them, because it served us in some way.
Yeah.
So, but when it stops serving us, and it ultimately always does, right? Because that is a limitation. We have to question that. We have to really, really just question and question and question and uncover deeper and deeper and deeper, and then move towards how do I want to intentionally create thoughts within my brain to get the results that I want. So I want to make it simple for everybody, right? I want somebody to say, like, I don't need you. I can do that on my own. Because here's the thing. I said that too.
Yep.
For many years. And I did do work on my own for many years. And then I realized how much more efficient and powerful it is when I work with somebody else, shoulder to shoulder, right?
Yes.
And it's not the cycle. We've talked about that not so merry-go-round. It's not that big cycle that we go through, right?
Yeah.
It almost is like I take dips because our journey is never linear,
Yep.
but I don't end up back where I started.
Yes. Still progressing.
Right. And asking myself, like, how did I get here again? It's like, I know exactly how I got here.
there.
And now I need to change it. Right.
Oh, yes. Yes. Holy smokes. I appreciate what you're saying because I work on cars. You know this. I like working on cars. I can work on cars at the house with limited tools, limited time, limited resources. I can go to a hobby shop where they have all the tools and everything like that. Or I can bring it to a technician and get it done and just come back in a few hours and it's done. And those are three different experiences. Nothing's wrong. I can get the end result with all three of them. But sometimes it takes more time. Some of them take more effort. Some of them have a different cost. And you've got to figure out what is the trade-off that you're willing to accept.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. What is the trade-off? Sometimes it really is, I'm going to turn this in, I'm going to come back and it's done. I'm going to pay for that service. Other times it's, I want to feel what it's like to take this apart bolt by bolt and bang a knuckle and get frustrated, listen to some music, sweat a little bit and figure out how to put it back together and just say that I did that. And other times I need to go to a hobby shop where I can do some of it, but I can get a pro over here to do some other parts of it. They got the right tools and it's really quick, but it's not super quick. It's not fully cheap. And all of those, there's a different cost and there's a different benefit to all of those things, but I get to choose that. And when you say questioning, the thing I like about questioning is it gives you options and you start to realize that beliefs, paradigms, thought patterns that you've had at one time in life, and you said this, Michelle, they may have served you at some point. It doesn't mean they are lifelong. Not every belief system is universal, and some things may have to be changed because of age, phase, location, life situations, things have changed. And it's a brave space to challenge and question the things that you've believed for a long time. It's very hard for some people. Some people would rather die than change their belief systems, whatever they are. But I think it's very brave if you can question them and make sure they're still serving you. Maybe they are, great. But have you assessed them? Have you taken the time to question whether they are serving you or is it just habit? Because I think a lot of things we do are by habit, but are they intentional? Let's be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assess them. Maybe you say, nothing's changing. My belief system is fine. It's great. It's serving me. All is good. At least you know that because you've assessed it. Or you say, whoa, why do I do that? That doesn't even align with my goals. That doesn't align with who I am. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to represent that. Or at this phase of life, that no longer serves me. So therefore, I've got to change the way I behave or act or think or do certain things. It's such a brave space to do that. It's scary because it really does start to break down some of the bricks and fabric of your life, but you get to patch those up again and redo them and redesign them for where you are and where you're going. So consider it. Just 2 cents, but it's something to consider. Because
I want to go back to your car analogy too.
You know me and my analogies.
Oh, I know. No, trust me, I know. But it this one specifically, this is the other element or benefit of really questioning, right? Like you looked and you said, well, I could do it on my own completely. I could go here and do it on my own, but use somebody else's tools, or I could have somebody else do it for me completely, right?
Yes.
So you have these 3 options or however many options you have.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to make
it's
it
3. It's 3.
Again, let's keep it simple, right? So with that, because you took the time to reflect on, oh my gosh, I am in choice. I am in intentional choice with this decision, right? And you know that there are different price points. This is free. It's going to take X amount of time. This is going to cost a little bit less, probably be more efficient, but it's still going to take a certain amount of time. This is going to take me no time, but it's going to cost me the most, right? Yeah. When you sit and you reflect on that and you pick, I am going to pay for somebody else to do it, you know, and you recognize that you're in choice with this and you're more empowered when you make the decision versus somebody who says, ugh, I have to go pay $300 to have my, $60,000 or 60,000 mile service.
Yeah.
And they feel so negative about it. Right. Yeah. And it feels like painful and like you're forced to do something.
Yeah.
versus being in choice and empowered with this decision. And I know most people are probably gonna be like, I don't even know how to fix a car. So it's really not a choice. So I have to do the thing. But it's like, listen, you kind of do have a choice, right?
Yeah.
You could take the time and shop it out and find somebody cheaper.
Yeah.
You could take the time to go on YouTube and learn to do the things,
Done that
right?
before.
There's options, right?
Yeah.
But I am empowered to make this choice, and I'm going to pay somebody and save myself all this heartache and headache
Yes.
of trying to do it on my own.
Yeah.
I'm empowered, and I understand that there's a cost associated with this time.
Exactly.
And so I feel less negative about the action of taking my car in to get serviced and paying a certain amount to have it serviced well at a reputable location, that I don't even think about it, right? I literally I have to take my car in for its 90,000 mile service, which is a big one. I know. And I got it. As soon as you gave that analogy, I was like, yeah, I am 100%. You take my car, you fix it well. There's a auto mechanic that is extremely reputable for my vehicle, and I take it to them, and I know it costs more to even get my oil changes there, but I have so much faith and belief in this one place, this one location, that I am willing every time to wait for them to service my car and to pay the extra money, right? Because I know the value is there. So, and the trade-off of my peace of mind, all the things, I look at all of those things when I make decisions, and I feel empowered with my choice versus my hand forced to fork out money.
Yes. Yeah. And it goes to when we first started talking, I was talking about the ease you have, like how you just seem real grounded and centered and focused right now. Like, it's really cool to watch, like this position. It's like that silent power that you got going on. You ever seen somebody who's in charge, the boss, the Don, the queen, the king, whoever? They're not agitated. They're just calm because they know. They know. And when you have a certain level of assurance about you, you look at somebody in the room who's very assured, you say, that person's in charge. And that's where you are right now. Even the way you're sitting right now is so poised. It's like, got this.
I have to tell you, at this training, I wasn't wearing all black. I was wearing like this green top. I might have had black slacks on because people dress up professionally for this training. And the first day of the training, I was asked 7 different times throughout the day.
Whoa.
Where do I register? Where do I get this? Where's the restroom? Where is this? And I answered everybody because I knew the things, right? Yeah. Like, I pay attention to things. I always assess my surroundings.
Good.
And I generally, once I recognize where the restroom is, once I recognize where this thing is, like, I'll remember them.
Yeah.
And every time I'd say, I don't work here, but I can tell you this is where that is, right? And every single time they're like, you don't work here? I'm like, no. I don't understand.
There's something to that.
But it was, a few people had mentioned, you just look like you know what you're doing. It was like, I'm just standing here. Literally, I was just standing there. It was just the funniest thing. Apparently, I looked like I was ready to give directions.
You should have been given directions. I love that. I do. See, this is a good example of that. But I was in DC once, and I was parking my car, going to go to a restaurant, and this gentleman came out, started backing me into a corner and parking and whatnot, and he told me to park here. Gave the guy some money because he said it was $5 or whatever. Gave him the $5, walked out, ate, had a great time, came back, had a ticket. That dude was not the parking attendant. He hustled me and made me park somewhere illegally. So I gave him the money, and I also had to pay the ticket. I busted out laughing because I assumed he was in charge because he took charge, looked like he was in charge, but he just hustled me out some money. And I said, you know what? I love his hustle. Good game. I wish he had parked me somewhere legal. It would have been all good.
Seriously.
But it was funny. To this day, it makes me crack up like, he played me. I didn't know. I just assumed if you're in the parking lot and you're backing me into a spot, you're the person that's backing people into the spots. So I thought I was good to go. Nope. I paid for that parking twice. And it was just funny to me because I assumed he was in charge because he seemed like he was in charge. And you exuded that same confidence, which people see. People see that. So it's really cool that you were able to do that. And maybe not as positive as your example, but yes, I understand how that can happen. But it's beneficial. It says something about you and the space that you're in. And that's a space that you're in intentionally. And that came with a lot of work. You know, you happen to look like you were in charge because you've done the work ahead of time to be in charge of yourself and your surroundings and your being and everything else. And that's just the overflow exuding out of you. You know what I mean? That's just the glow coming off of you. And it's cool. It's funny you say that, but I'm not surprised because I know you. Duh. You know, I know you. So grateful.
So I think the other component to it is not just, the presence of authority necessarily, but it's the openness, right? Yeah. So there's an energy to being open to other people approaching you.
Yes.
And we all know what that body language is, right? It's like generally you're open to people approaching you, like physically open to it. You're not like shut off or turned towards a wall or turned towards somebody else. You've opened your shoulders so that you're facing people who can approach you. And then also just a neutral or pleasant expression on your face. Having those two basic things will allow more people to approach you. Now, I know a lot of people are like, please don't approach me. But that's not necessarily how I am in these spaces, right? So when I'm at like conferences, when I'm even out at a social gathering, I like to create space for other people to join the conversation. So it's like we're always open to more people engaging with us.
Yes.
If there's something that's, specific that I want to, okay, I'm going to close off, then, you kind of turn your shoulder away from where other people approach you. You're looking deeply into the other person's, face and expression, and you're connecting with them one-on-one versus sort of like, hey, I'm open and willing to engage and accept other people into my space. So that is generally speaking, I just realized that as you were sharing that concept of physical, like the physical manifestation of authority.
Yes.
There's an openness and willingness to receive other people from approaching you. That is also an important element of leadership with body language.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. I think we do have a calling card on our faces sometimes. We do have that billboard that says, hey, I'm available for a conversation or for you to come into my proximity or stay away from me, leave me alone. And, you can be a people repellent or you can be like a people attractant. And we sometimes put that on whether we know it or not. And I do it when I'm in New York City. I am leave me alone. I'm just going about my business. Don't see anything. And I turn it off like totally. Poof. Sometimes out here, I'm like,
New York City energy, though.
Hey,
yeah. No.
I'm not doing that in New York because this is a different place.
No, I will be. I'm not sure I'd be doing that too. It's like if somebody's got like, that's me. I'm the person that clearly stands out as not from New York.
And it's just fun. It's funny to watch because you see the difference, and we do it. And I don't know if we do it intentionally, but there are times when I go into an event and I'll go there and I say, I'm just going to be myself. And I know I can tell what I'm doing. I turn certain things off. So I become very invisible. And then other times I'll go to an event and I'll be the person that's like, hey, I'm going to act like I'm running this thing. People ask you, are you in charge? And I'm like, no, I'm just here. I'm greeting people and saying hi, checking how they're doing. Not my event, but I'm going to act like a host because I just like to act like a host sometimes. So it's a different energy and it really is intentional either way. I don't want to talk to anybody, or I'm going to just meet as many people as I can and greet them and make sure they're having a great time. And, I'm going to be the host that isn't. And you choose those. You choose those and just know what you're choosing because they have effects. There's an impact either way, whichever one you choose. There's an impact.
Yeah. And be accepting of that choice too, right? We don't have to shame ourselves for deciding, I don't want to talk to anybody today.
No.
One of those days, not feeling it.
It's energy management. I was talking to someone today and they were talking about they had a family event and they have a huge family and it was like, it was energy drain. And I was like, I get that. That many people around is probably draining your energy. And they said they had to find a place to kind of escape, to recharge. I was like, oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. that you can be in a space that's like super energy draining or super energy charging. So know your space. Know that we're here. We want to be shoulder to shoulder with you, hand in hand, arm in arm, lockstep with you, whatever you call it. Have your six, got your back, have you covered, got you covered. Whatever it is, whatever you say, know that you are not alone. And there are people out here willing to help you get where you want to go. And there's a myriad of ways to do that. And we're just offering a few ways here. And hopefully something that we've said today has been beneficial to you. But if it hasn't, come back next time. And if you've enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, follow, share, and most importantly, use whatever adds value to your amazing life.
Remember, even if life puts barriers in our way, we are still moving forward. Sign in each week for a new episode of Winning Inside.
Thank you for listening to Winning Inside with Cheddy Matthews and Michelle Wickman. If you enjoyed today's show, please make sure to click the follow button, rate and review at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, or wherever you get your podcast. You can connect with Cheddy and Michelle at winninginside.io. Keep listening. Another episode is coming soon.